You need to master your mind in order for you to change your life. We always have spoken about the power of your mind, the importance of your mind in order for you to change the experiences that you have in your life, to change the past events, to change the way you feel about it, and also to create the life that you want. But in order for you to do all these things, you should first understand the nature of human mind, because we have always mentioned in our videos that all is mind, the mind is all. Whatever is there is going to be without, whatever is within is without, and we have always spoken about it. But today in this video we'll be talking how to actually master mind, because if you have watched all of our videos, you will understand that the mind is the most important thing that you have in your life. If you do not understand your mind, if you do not befriend your mind, if you do not understand the strengths of your minds, and if you do not understand how to make your mind your friend, you will always end up making this mind as your enemy. And once the mind is your enemy, this entire reality will turn against you. You will have experiences that you do not desire. You will have events that you are not desired of. You will feel pain. You will have all the undesired emotions within you if you do not understand this guy. And of course, I am having horns on this mind. It is because if you do not understand it, if you do not control it, this guy, this mind is going to rule your life. This is going to dictate what you're going to do, how you're going to feel about yourself. So it is very important for us to understand the mind. And of course, in this video we will be talking about a lot of neural science, basic neural science, and also we'll be talking about a lot of ancient hermetic principles, a lot about the Vedic texts, a lot of philosophies, so that you can actually be convinced that you can control your mind. So let's get straight into the video. First, let's start with what is mind, because most of us, almost every one of us, have this misconception in our mind, have this misconception and misbelief and the wrong understanding that mind equals brain. We do not think of mind and brain as something that is different, as something that is completely different from each other. But for being said, these two are actually different from each other. And how is it different? How are you even saying that brain and mind are different? Of course, we can get into it. Brain is an organ that generally takes care of you, that makes this entire body function properly, the homeostasis, the digestive systems, and all the systems that you have in your body is taken care by the brain. Different regions of the brain, all the regions of the brain are going to come together for you to be healthy, for your white blood cells to attack the viruses, attack the bacteria that is there in your body, and to take care of you basically. But this mind is completely different from brain. What is mind? To explain in a very simple sense, mind is a solidified version of your belief. So what do I mean by solidified version of your belief? When I say the mind is a solidified version of your belief, what do I actually mean is this mind has very rigid things. So, rigid things as in rigid and strong beliefs that makes it hard, and that looks like it is hard for you to change your mind. Simply talking, this mind comprises all the thought patterns that you have, all the thinking that goes on, all the memory that you have, all the memories, all the thoughts all the feelings, it's all in this mind. It basically is a solidified version of your belief system. And why do I say belief system? What is even belief? Belief is this conviction that you have about something. It can be anything. Let's say a person has this belief, or let's consider money. A person always thinks that making money is very hard. That is the belief that they had. And how was this belief even originated? How was this belief even created? This belief generally was created by thoughts added with feelings. Thoughts added with feelings is going to create belief. And how are you going to feel things? You are going to feel things based on the events that has happened in your life. And what are these events? That is basically the past. That is basically the memories that you have. So now you can understand, this mind is a bucket that is filled with all of these things. It actually makes us feel like it is a mess, because thoughts plus feelings equals beliefs, but this feelings has events that is in your memory, and all these things are clubbed. It confuses you. It actually confuses you to understand this mind. But to be very honest, you will understand this in a very simple way if you just turn your perspective, if you just change the way you look at your mind. So, as I said, mind is a solidified version of your belief system. Why did I use the word solidified? So in order for something to solidify, it has to be liquid or fluid in the first place. In order for anything, let's consider ice. Okay, how is ice formed? When you freeze water that is fluid, it becomes ice. It becomes solid, it becomes solidified. So simply speaking, your mind is a solidified version of your beliefs. So in order for you to change the mind, you can't fight with it. You shouldn't fight with it, because to be very honest, a mind that has all the beliefs, that has the memories, that has the emotions from the past, to believe in something, that belief is so strong. It believes that you do not deserve good things. Bad things happen to you. You do not deserve to make more money. You do not deserve good relationships or anything. That is because the belief is because of the experiences that you had in the past, and that is stored in your brain. What is happening in your brain? What is happening in your mind? It is basically forming neural networks. It is just, forming neural connections. So these connections, these bonds that are formed in your mind is basically because of the feelings and the emotions. And once this bridge is formed, it is very easier for you to start feeling the same way again and again and again in your life. So that is the reason why once you experience a traumatic event or a bad event in your life, you always tend to be thinking about it once something related to it happens in your physical world, in this three-dimensional reality. You will be like, something even smallest happens, something that is smallest in an undesired way happens in your reality. You tend to think about this network. This network is basically the memories. These memories has emotions added to it. And as I have always said, emotion is energy in motion. So you constantly give energy to this bond, that is, this connection, this neural connection in your mind, so it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So once it is solidified, once it is frozen, once the things are frozen, you cannot go and think that you can break it. You cannot actually fight with this, because once you fight with your own self, that is where you lose. That is where you lose, because you should always understand one single thing in your life, that anything that you want in your life, anything that you dream of in your life, is going to be given by only one person. It's not any external entity, it's not anybody in this world, but it's going to be given to you by yourself. You are going to give yourself the things that you have always desired of, that you have always dreamt of. So you just have to think, if you fight with yourself, does it even make sense for you to even dream of things? Because you should not fight with your mind, because the mind is going to give you the things that you want if you understand it, if you nurture it properly, if you understand how it functions, and if you operate it so that it serves yourself, then you will be into your desired reality. It should be your best friend. Maybe because of these neural networks, it might feel very hard for you to control the things that are going on in your head, because it is already manifested, it is already created. These neural networks are physical things. I'm not talking about any mythology, and I'm not talking about any philosophical things. These things exist in your mind, these things exist in your brain. These are actual things. So in order for you to get rid of this, you shouldn't fight with it, because you know what happens once you decide to fight with the neural patterns that are formed in your mind. You know, once you start feeling bad about something, you get irritated by that feeling, you get irritated by that, sadness or the past traumas that are being triggered. Once you are irritated by those things, you give it energy, you start feeling an emotion within you, so you direct your energy towards it. So whenever you direct energy towards anything, it grows. As I've spoken in my previous videos, the entire nature of this universe is to magnify and maintain. So once you start focusing on something, it magnifies. So once you give it attention, it grows. So if you give attention to fight, and talking logically, when do you fight something? When you do not feel right, or you are not okay with something, you totally feel like that is something that is against you. So you fight with things that are not, going to help you. You do not want these things. So you are fighting with yourself. You fight with yourself because this is not the desired one. So these are undesired. These are undesired neural networks. So you fight with yourself, and you get into this stream of fighting with yourself in your mind, so that your mind becomes so loud, it becomes clouded, that you cannot focus on the things that actually is going to give you your dream reality. So as I said, as within, as without, as above, so below. So whatever is there in your mind, if it is clouded, if you are fighting in your brain, in your mind with yourself, then of course you are going to feel the same things in this three-dimensional reality. You're going to find experiences, you're going to find events that is going to ensure that whatever you feel is right. So, one thing that you understood is you shouldn't fight with yourself. You shouldn't think that by fighting with yourself you can do anything, you can change anything, because no, you cannot. Now you can ask me, so Shahid, what should we do? Okay, I understand that fighting with myself actually directs my energy to it and it grows stronger. So how do we even master mind? How should we even master our mind? Because I know that you are unable to control the thoughts, you are unable to, control the feelings that you have. And if you do not control it, then of course, the reality will be against you. So, one thing that you need to understand here, it is said by Shankaracharya in Advaita Vedanta. He says it so beautifully that, this entire creation, this entire three-dimensional creation originates from one common thing. And he says this as Brahma. He calls the common reality, the only single reality, the singularity, as Brahma. And he mentions that all the other things in this reality that we feel, all the feelings, all the emotions, all the events, all the people, all the things are just different branches that has roots in the same thing, that is Brahman. So I have always said, if you're not your mind and if you're not your body, who are you? Because this body changes and this mind is totally changing every single time. This mind is something, that if we do not understand how to control it, it is going to control your life, and we all have different minds. But at some point of time, everybody is going to die. So once a person dies, something leaves their body. And what is that thing that is going to leave their body? Essentially, that something that leaves is you, is me, is everything. So he says that, Shankaracharya mentions that all the other things are branches. And he also mentions that this three-dimensional reality is just superimposition of Maya on Brahma, so that everything looks like it is not singular. Everything seems like different things. I am different from you. You are different from all the other people. It is because of the superimposition of Maya upon Brahma. But we should not get there right now. So the thing is, once you are far away from the root, once you are far away from the source, once you are here, it is very hard, it is very difficult for you to change. So that even goes on to the neural networks. Once something is formed, in order for you to break it, in order for you to change it, it is actually different because you are here. Once you are something, once you are in this, tree, you feel it very hard to, change things. But once you are here, once you are from the source, once you are here, anything can happen. So this source is where all the possibilities open up. And once you start reading what Shankaracharya has said, he has even, thousands of years back, he has mentioned a lot about, the quantum science, the quantum physics. Even thousands of years back, he was aware of it. All the things that he said actually makes sense right now. So what he says is, from this source, anything that you want branches out, branches out, branches out. So if you want to change things, you shouldn't fight with your mind. Rather, you should focus on having these branches, or rather you should focus on the things that actually is going to serve you. So I get it, a lot of times people often tell me that Shayad, it is very hard for me to fight and handle the things that are going on in my mind. And even someone mentioned commented on a previous video saying that I'm unable to process the things, process the knowledge that is there in my mind. I don't know how to get rid of the knowledge. So basically it is all because you do not understand the nature of the mind. You do not understand the nature of the functioning of the brain, so that you feel like it is very difficult for you to change. But once you understand this correlation with this tree that I just drew, that tree is called samsara, if I'm not wrong. So what do I actually mean that you have to come to the root, you have to come to the source? Once you understand the source, it will be easier for you to apply it to anything that you have. This source is singular. This source is singular. This source does not have polarity. This source does not care about good and bad, pain and pleasure, happiness and sadness. It is beautifully even said in Bhagavad Gita by Krishna. He always says that do not focus on the pair of opposites, the pain and pleasure, happiness, sadness, bliss and sorrow. Do not focus on the pair of opposites, rather focus on your duty. Do your duty and do not expect anything in return. It is beautifully said. So, as Krishna says, there is no duality. You shouldn't focus on the duality, the positive and negative. You know why? It is because the positive and negative actually exists in your mind, and it differs, it differentiates, it changes from person to person. What is right for me, what I believe is right for me, is not the same for you. You have different belief systems. You believe a certain things that is totally different from my belief system. So it actually does not exist. It just exists in your mind. So if you focus on it more, if you give it more attention, you are giving attention to something that doesn't even exist. That makes sense. So the source first is singular. What does it mean? It's non-dual. So once you understand this, you have to understand that the neural patterns that are formed in your mind, and you labeling it as bad, should not exist. As we said, once you get to the source, this bad and good doesn't exist. You should look at the neural patterns. You should look at the mind as something that exists, that is there. It is neither good nor bad, so that you cut off the things that is pulling you. So it is simply you getting to the source. So the first is non-duality, and the source is eternal. The source does not have death. There is no death. There is no death. Why there is no death? It is because there is no birth and death. Birth and death also comes under duality. There is no duality in source. And once you understand the other natures of the source, it will be actually very, very, easier for you to change. And there are no feelings as of such in the source. Why is there no actual feelings in the source? Because these feelings are basically the sensory mechanisms that are being developed from our biological systems. So these feelings varies from person to person. I feel certain way about something, and you feel certain way about another thing that is completely different. So it differs from person to person. So it actually exists in your mind, and this is even not real. So source is eternal. Source is singular. Source is emotionally unshakable. Emotional. So as there are no feelings, you are emotionally unshakable. So now you understand, okay, source has all these qualities. And what is source? Source is something that remains. What does it mean? So once you remove your mind, once you remove your mind, and once you remove your body, what remains? You can call it spirit, you can call it Brahma, you can call it soul. It is all, different names for the same thing, but there is something that remains, and that source has all these qualities. And if you incorporate all these qualities, and if you are conscious about all these qualities, then you will actually get how to master your mind. So another thing, what we are doing right here is what is called as Neti Neti in Advaita Vedanta. What is Neti Neti is, what does it mean? Is not this, not that. So once you are going towards a solution, once you have a problem, once you have a question, what Shankaracharya says is the best way to handle a question is Neti Neti. You should know what is not the answer. So we know we are not our mind, we are not our body, and the source is not dual. The source is eternal. The source does not have actually, the feelings or the emotions that we human beings have created through our experiences. All right. So, as the foundation is laid, as you understand the actual nature of yourself, that is, you are not your mind, you are not your body, you are something that remains, and that something actually is non-dual. Now, what is going to happen is you are going to cut off the negative emotion that you hold towards your mind. because there is no duality, there is no good and bad. If you feel that your mind is doing bad for you, your mind is uncontrollable, it's not true. It actually is not true. You thinking about it, you believing it, is actually making it true. Actually, in its realest form, it is not true. So, as the good is not there and the bad is not there, and there is something in between, now here comes your conscious decision. Here comes your conscious decision. Are you going to consider your mind as something good or something bad? It doesn't matter, because whatever you think is going to happen. Whatever you strongly believe is going to happen. And all these neural networks existing is because of you constantly giving it attention and you thinking that this is bad, this is bad. And once you start believing it is bad, you're going to see the same results in the three-dimensional reality. So what are we going to do here with this consciousness that we have? The consciousness is going to cure this. The consciousness is, I've always said this, so consciousness is cure. The consciousness is actually going to negate the negative feeling that we have. That is, it is going to cancel out the negative feeling that we have, and we are going to move towards good consciously. And you are going to develop positive and conscious, friendly and self-serving emotions towards your mind. And that is the reason why people always talk about visualization. People always talk about affirmations. It is all, doing this thing, but they are naming it as different versions. But it is simply taking conscious choice of what you want from your human mind. As I have said, the human mind is a solidified version, and now you move towards the source. Once you move towards the consciousness, you become nothing. You become not, you are not your mind, you're not your body, you become nothing. And from that nothing, as I have shown, from the roots, you can actually sow whatever you want. You're going to water it, you're going to nurture it, and from this land, you are going to have a beautiful tree, and that is going to be based on your choice. So, as I said, what we are doing right now is, we are not fighting against the existing neural networks. We are not fighting against the existing neural networks. Just consider and just imagine that this neural network is similar to this tree, similar to the samsara, similar to the source, that is the roots coming from the source. Okay, so now there is a tree that is already existing. If you want to cut down that tree, you have to put in a lot of effort. And even if you cut down the tree, you should have something in your land, you should have something in your mind. What are you going to do? So basically, you're not going to even consider this, and you're going to water and you're going to plant something that is self-serving. You're going to nurture it with your emotion. So you're going to sow self-serving ideas. You're going to sow self-serving ideas, and you are going to nurture it with your attention. As I have said, attention is where we direct our energy, and wherever we direct our energy, it grows, and the more it grows, the stronger it gets. And another thing is happening here. You have stopped watering this tree. You have stopped watering this negative neural network. You have stopped giving it attention. You're not conscious about even not giving it attention, but you're conscious about giving the new thing, the self-serving neural network attention. So you're not even thinking about this. So a lot of people make this mistake, once they are getting into the self-transformation and self-mastery journey. What they do is they always focus on what they have to get rid of. So unfortunately, once you do that, it is impossible for you to get rid of something. So what you have to do instead is, you're focusing on what is self-serving. You have sown the seed that is self-serving. You are nurturing it with your attention. And I have said this always, once there is attention and energy, it grows, and the stronger it grows, the harder it is for you to get rid of it. And once you make this cycle that is good for you, you still think that you will be thinking about the mind as something bad? If just think that your mind is the most biggest and the most strongest tool that you have got, and the mind is giving you all the things that you have dreamt of. You are able to do the things that you have always dreamt of. You are more confident. You are doing the things that you said others. You have great self-esteem. You have great self-image. Do you think that kind of ideal mind is your enemy? But still, it is a mind. So who is the person who is doing the mistake? It is us. It is you. You are thinking that the mind is something that is bad and you cannot control it. And of course, you giving it attention, the thought of not being controlled, and you are giving it attention, then it grows. Of course, it gets stronger. But instead, if you have something that is beautiful, if you have something that makes you feel that this mind is something that is very beautiful, then what is going to happen? What is going to happen? As I said, whatever is there in your mind will be seen in this three-dimensional reality, and the entire life, the three-dimensional reality changes. And I just want to mention one thing here. It is very, very important. Once you constantly give attention to the things that you want, and you sow the seed and you nurture the tree that you want, what happens actually? Now, slowly, once you start nurturing, once you start, building this new version of yourself, this new tree, you'll start enjoying this process, and you will even forget that there is something that existed in the past. And these neural networks will get stronger and stronger, and the stronger it gets, the more you're going to enjoy this journey, and you will be riding this wave. You will be riding this thing where you enjoy this journey, and you will be like, why was I even worried? Why was I even worried about the things that happened in the past? And one thing that I want you guys to realize is, as we just spoke about the source, and the source is formless. This source has, everything. It is everything, okay? And we all have the source. So we are all a part of the source. So now you have to understand that, this source has everything, okay? And this is the mind, okay? And you are here. You are the consciousness, and you are here. You are conscious. And now let's say you have this conscious idea that life is bad, okay? And you put this idea in your mind that life is bad. What is mind going to do is, it is going to get into the source and bring out something that is bad. The same as once you say that the life is good, it's going into the source, it's going to bring you something that is good. So you have to understand that the mind doesn't even care what you want. Your mind doesn't care what you want. All it cares about is to sustain. All it cares about is for you to survive, for the neural networks in your mind to survive. So that is why the mind actually, whenever you're doing, whenever you're not in your desired reality and you have this negative mental neural network, what your mind, once you have decided to change, what your mind actually feels, it feels threatened. Whenever there is a change, your mind is threatened. And why is it threatened? It is because it feels like there is some danger. That is the reason why we are changing. So that is how innocent your mind is. That is how innocent your intelligence is. And the consciousness is the only thing, as I said, the consciousness is the cure. The consciousness is the only thing that is going to change and that is going to alchemize this mind so that you are able to bring out the things that you desire of from the source. And this source doesn't actually care what you want. The source has everything. the source contains everything. All right, and once you start believing in this, once you use these things, once you understand these things, you'll be like, okay, the source has everything. And I have always been thinking that my life is bad, and I have always been getting incidences and experiences that ensures that whatever I thought was right, because of this, it is supposed to happen. Whatever is there in your mind and whatever you consciously choose is going to be your desired reality. And in my previous videos, some people are asking me some good questions. To be very honest, even some people are sharing their stories. They ask me that, Shahid, I've been through these things, I have gone through these things, I don't know what to do, and things like that. And to be very honest, guys, I really want to help you guys, but in the comments section, it is actually difficult for me to give you a proper, detailed answer, because I want to have a conversation so that I'll be able to understand you better, so that I'll be able to, put myself in your position and understand what is actually going on. If not, I can't give you a proper answer, and I don't want to do it. So if sometimes I'm not answering to some comments properly, then that might be the reason, guys. And for that, we might be starting a community channel soon, and where I am planning where we are going to start. But once we do it, then we'll be able to have proper conversations. So now we understood that the nature of the mind and what is the cure, how are we going to change what is there in our mind. So basically the consciousness, consciously sowing something that you want is going to give you what you desire of. But you should also understand one thing. I've also mentioned this in my previous videos. It is the quantum physics, and what we talk, and I'll be very simple with this. So in quantum physics, what it says is this entire creation is made of atoms, and the atoms are made of electrons, and the electrons are even made of very smaller particles. So what they say is these electrons, the way it functions, the way it performs is totally unpredictable, and the electrons are present only when there is an observer. So people say in quantum world that only when the observer is there, only when there is a conscious mind, you are actually seeing this reality because of your mind. And this mind is this attention, this consciousness that you are, is actually creating this entire reality, is what people say. And if you consider that thought, if you consider that, and if you actually take that in and understand that all the things are possible, everything is in the source and everything is possible, then just think about the confidence that you will have on the things that you do. Just think of the efforts that you put, and just think about the positive mentality that you will have if you actually understand the nature of your mind. And I really want you guys to do it. So one last thing is, I have spoken about the mind, I have spoken about the mental plane, but I just want to talk about one thing, that is, how is this mental plane, because we have spoken how is this mental plane actually going to help us, but how is it going to affect the physical plane? So simply speaking, this is the most important thing, because I can say a lot of things so that you will be able to understand a lot of things in your mind, but if you want to understand how it is going to affect the physical world, you have to get into a different topic. So what it actually is, simply let's consider that this is your mind, and this mind contains belief system, and this belief system, most probably for most of the people, it is unconscious, and it is we call it the subconscious mind, but you are not conscious about what is there in your belief system. So this belief system contains the self-image that you have, the idea, that the perception that you have towards the life. It is all present in this belief system. All right, so most of the times for the people who are suffering in their lives, it is because you are not aligned with this physical and this mental plane. What do I mean by it is simply the things that are present in your belief system that is not serving you, and you have all the negative things, all the self-questioning things in your belief system. Okay, so what does this do is these self-questioning thoughts are going to make you take self-questioning actions. And this self-questioning actions is actually going to create the similar reality. So now, if let's just consider this thing, okay, if you are conscious about this belief system and you know that this belief system is a bad thing, in the sense this belief system contains a lot of self-questioning things, and you replace this belief system with self-serving beliefs, then what will you do? What happens if you change this belief system? So basically, once you have the right belief system, you are going to take the right action. And once you take the right action, you're going to get into the right reality. As I said, the source contains everything, and once you're right in your mind, you're going to take the right actions in this physical world. You're not going to make mistakes once you're right here, and you're going to get into the reality that you desire. So simply, people call this as the manifestation, and they have created this entire industry around it. But once you understand this, you get to this realization that it is only you that is going to help yourself. It is not all the people who sell a lot of things. It is not a lot of people who says that just doing these affirmations, just doing all the visualization things, of course it is going to help. But what is the essence of all those techniques? It is simply that you help yourself. You help you. If this is true, you help you. If this is true, then you are the most important person for you in this life. So start treating you like that. Start treating your mind like that. Be conscious about what you are thinking. Be conscious about the feelings, the emotions that you have associated with the thoughts in your mind. And of course, in my next video, I'll be talking about how the past, pondering on the past, how this entire traumatic events are defining your future and is affecting and is stopping you from getting into your desired reality. And a lot of more videos are yet to come. So until then, stay conscious. Bye.